Okay, what I'm going to try and do here, all this is an era lock and my homemade key from before. Obviously, you know, bumping, once you've bumped a few times, you do gradually get used to the technique. For me, bumping's my thing. I absolutely love bumping, and it will open the lock. The problem a lot of people have is they're turning the key top and bottom far too hard, and because they're turning it so hard, when you're bumping it with the hammer, even if the pins jump up, you're turning it that much, it's preventing the pins jumping properly, so it's just locking the key. And people don't seem to understand that it's like, when I'm turning the key with my fingers, I'm scarcely touching it like that, on and off virtually, to turn it, because you need that little pressure. So I thought, I've seen a similar video, but I thought I'd make one myself. And basically this is the first time, I've not tried this before. And I'm going to use a straw, a normal straw, like a kid's straw, McDonald's, well it's thinner than the McDonald's straw, being a connoisseur of junk food. So basically I'm going to use that as my tension wrench. The idea is, if this straw creases, you're putting too much turning pressure on. So basically I'm going to try and bump this using the straw to turn the key, and there you go, it's gone. You see how easy that was? Let's have another go, because no doubt this one will make me look stupid if the first one didn't. So you're bumping it with minimal turning pressure. Oh, snap the straw in half there by being a clumsy getting hitting it with the hammer. But basically you're bumping it. You see how little pressure was needed? I haven't broke the straw. I get the feeling so many people out there are doing this, rah, let's bend it, let's smash it, rah, and then they wonder why the lock won't open. It's purely down to the lightness, or a lot of the time it's down to the light. Oh, well, that's gone a bend, isn't it? Look, it's got the spring bits in it. But basically you get the gist of it. Let's put the other end back in. Obviously it won't be as hard as it was before because you've got a smaller piece of straw, but you can still get the idea. As I'm hitting that with the bump hammer, I'm putting minimal pressure again. See how I've just opened that again? It's 3 times in no time at all. That's using the straw, so all you people out there that are twisting it too hard, that's your problem with bumping. The other common problem is the spacing of your washers. You see how that, when I've put the washers on there now, see how it's sitting just before that end pin? Well, while you've got the pleasure of having the lock in your hand while you're practicing, you want to make sure when you set your washers up it's just before that last pin. And the whole idea of these washers is that when you bump in, it hits that pin and these rubber washers spring the key back. So instead of pulling it out one click, tapping it, pulling it out one click, tapping it, these washers allow you to hit it loads of times repeatedly, which will pop that end pin up and hopefully turn the lock. So for me, if you've got these washers set up right, like that, yeah, can you see that? Let's just go in a bit so you can see that. See how that's just right, just before the last pin? If your washers are set up right, and you've got that turning pressure right, nice and light, you don't need to whack it into next week with the hammer, just a light turning motion, tapping it with the bump hammer. It won't be long, as long as your spacing's correct as well before you bump in locks. That's my quick how to bump a lock. Alright. Oh, there you go, it's gone again. So you can see just how light that pressure is. If you think you're hitting it too hard, get yourself a straw and have a go, and it'll make you appreciate just how little pressure it is. Because I guarantee you, a lot of you that are struggling will be doing this, or it'll be creasing, not as dramatically as that, but it will crease. That's the best way to get across to you how little pressure is needed.